What's going on, YouTube? Coming at you with yet another video. This video is a little bit different. I want to start getting more into my personal collection, more into things that come in the mail for my collection and so on, TTMs, all that fun stuff. Get a little bit more personal with my YouTube channel like I used to be back in the day, ages ago, when I first started here on YouTube. I never used to do box breaks or anything of that nature. It was always mail days and so on. So the first video I'm going to do that we're going to get a little bit personal with me is going to be 5 cards. Actually, there's going to be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 2 cards tied. And it's going to be my top 5 cards that are very meaningful to me. I'm going to show you the cards, and I'm going to give you the little story behind each card. Really cool story. This video is completely inspired by my good friend Amish Dave. If you guys don't know who Amish Dave is, go look for him. He's known for his 30-minute videos of burping, farting, all that fun stuff. But he gives a great story behind every card. And I was chatting with him, and I agree with him. You know, every card that I own in my personal collection has a story. So these are not the most valuable cards I have. They're not the best cards I have. They're the cards with the best story. So without further ado, let me show you number 5. So number 5 is actually a recent pickup. Picked it up last year at Nationals. I picked up the card before Nationals, but I got the autograph at Nationals. Funny story behind this card. I collect New York Yankees. I love the New York Yankees. I used to pick up every autograph I could find of the Yankees. My collection got insane. So I trimmed the fat a little bit, and now I keep 1 autograph per player. For example, I have Joe Torre over there. If I find a better Joe Torre, I will sell, trade, or move that one and upgrade the card. Like I said, 1 auto per player, but my main goal is to have as many players or close to every player that was meaningful to me as a fan in my collection. So I searched far and wide for this guy, couldn't find him because he only spent a couple of months with the Yankees. Did find a card of him in a Yankees jersey and decided to get it autographed at Nationals. And that card is of Pudge Rodriguez. Funny story behind this card. The only athlete I met at Nationals last year was Pudge Rodriguez. The list was, there was Mariano Rivera was there, a whole bunch of players that I wanted to meet. But the last day at Nationals, I believe it was the last day at Nationals, I stayed behind. I waited online, gave him the marker. I picked the marker out. I picked the card, gave it to him. He signed it, and he was like, wow. He turned at his assistant that was sitting next to him and said, this came out really nice. I like this, with the marker and everything. I shook the man's hand. I told him I was in Spanish because he was talking in Spanish to his assistant. So I threw some of my Latino heat at him. And I told him, I said, you're one of my favorite catchers. I always respected the catching position. And I just wish you became a Yankee a lot earlier than what you did. And he laughed at me. He smiled, shook my hand again, and said, growing up, everybody wants to be a Yankee. And, oh, man, I smiled so much. Meant a lot to me. And that is number 5 in the cards in my collection that mean the most to me. Story-wise. Best stories, I should say. So now, off to number 4. So number 4 is a tie. I met these 2 wrestlers. They're not even like baseball, basketball, football players. Wrestlers. I met these 2 wrestlers at a show in New York called The Big Event. I go every November. I'm actually going in in March too, because they do it twice a year. And I got these two wrestlers to autograph my cards. First one, King Kong Bundy. This is on a 1987 Topps WWF King Kong Bundy wrestling card. Really nice guy. He looked like he was in rough shape, but he looked like he was very happy to be there. And got his autograph. And the second one is Mean Gene. Now, the reason why I have both of these together is because shortly after that show, they both passed away. And, yeah, it was really sad. Mean Gene passed away, I think, a couple of months after I met him. And he was in rough shape. He was sitting next to Pat Patterson. They were joking around the entire time. Mean Gene was signing microphones. Pat Patterson was hiding the microphones from him. Mean Gene was going crazy. And just the classic voice. Mean Gene's classic voice was, just gave me goosebumps, man. I grew up loving Mean Gene, loving the King Kong Bundy, even though he was a heel. But these are guys I grew up watching, and very sad when I heard that they passed away. So that's my story behind both of these cards, and how I obtained them, and why these would probably never, ever, ever leave my PC. Number 3. So number 3, it's a great story as well. Every card has a great story. But this is my third favorite story when it comes to cards. Back in the day, I want to say, I don't know, 8-9 years ago, when I first started on YouTube and watching videos and all that, there was a lot of TTMers coming into the scene. And I used to watch those videos. I still watch tons of TTM videos. I love TTMing. It's a great part of the hobby. It could get expensive after a while, but I respect the hell out of everybody who does TTMs. The dedication and the time it takes, it's insane. So I got into TTMing, and my first TTM return was from this guy. And that is New York Jet legend Emerson Boozer. I've gotten better cards than Emerson Boozer. The guy's not even a Hall of Famer. I've received a lot of Jets that are probably more legendary than Emerson Boozer. But this was my first TTM return I ever had. It's on a 1974 Topps. I wrote him a letter. He lives nearby, not too far. Came back in like 4 or 5 days. Signed it, inscribed it Super Bowl III champs, 16/7 Jets, and his number. And not only did he do that, he also wrote me a letter saying, Dear Manny, thank you for being a fan. I really appreciate the kind words. As requested, I signed your card and added Super Bowl III champions, and I also put the score. Took the time. I've watched videos of Emerson, of cards that come back from Emerson Boozer, and he writes letters. He takes time. You could tell he loves the fans. It touched me. I was very happy when I received that letter. I just thought it was cool that an athlete would take the time and show his appreciation towards his fans. I wish more celebrities would do that. I understand a lot of them are extremely busy and they can't, but very humbled guy, and that's why I love this card so damn much. Off to number 2. So, number 2 is not an in-person, and it's not a TTM. Shocker. But it has a great story to it. I started collecting mainly cards like that, cards like the ones I just showed you, where they're not really certified autos. I get them raw, or I get them done in person, and then I send them to PSA DNA to get certified and get slabbed up. This card right here I purchased off of eBay. I have a huge collection. Football, basketball, baseball, football. I'll show you guys one day. And it's all PSA DNA certified cards. This is a guy I've been hunting down for a long, long, long time. At Nationals, I found a few cards of his, but they were just very expensive. I found the right card at the right price. And that is Mr. O.J. Simpson trading card, autographed. Not a real card. It's 1994, the Ted Williams Card Company. So I don't think I can send this to get authentic, like authentic card with like the information on it. I could be wrong, but I don't think we can. If I can, I'll probably upgrade the slab. That kind of bothers me so much. I don't know why, but it does. I'll get that done eventually. So I talked to the buyer. I talked to the seller, and I was like, "Wow, man, you have an O.J. Simpson card," and I'm not gonna say I'm a huge fan of the guy, but I've been wanting an O.J. Simpson for my collection. How did you obtain these? And this guy was O.J. Simpson's agent, and he said he has a bunch of them. He's been selling little by little. He doesn't flood the market, but every now and then he throws a few cards on eBay of his. And this card is extremely special because if you see the inscription, he did 100 of them. This is 57 of 100. But if you see the inscription, it's 10/3/95. And that's the day that he got acquitted of murder, which is pretty epic, if you ask me. I thought that was pretty cool. Thought it was one-of-a-kind piece. I questioned why that's in black and that's in blue. OJ didn't write that. The gentleman wrote it. He wrote all the cards, gave them to OJ. OJ signed them. So the day he was acquitted, he signed these cards, supposedly. I mean, it has the inscription on it, but who knows? But that's number 2, and now we're going to go off to number 1. Alright, card number 1. Most of you guys already seen this. I'm not even going to waste any time. It's always on my desk. As you can clearly see, it's missing from my desk, and that is the Blue Blazer, the Slammy Award winning, the King of Hearts, Owen Hart. The Rocket, Owen Hart. 1998 WWF Wrestling. Owen Hart Auto, PSA 7. The card has a lot of chipping and stuff like that. I didn't care. It's the most I ever spent on a card. I believe I spent $400 or so on this card. I bought it when I was at Nationals, but it was an eBay purchase. I pulled the trigger and got this card. Some of you guys may know, some of you guys may not know. I am a huge Bret the Hitman Hart fan. Huge Owen Hart fan. Hart Foundation fan. Anything Hart related, I love. If, you go up there really quick. I got the Hitman's glasses signed. And if you go over there, I know it's a little dark. I don't have the proper settings right now, but I do have a belt that's a little tilted right now. I have to fix that. And it's an autograph of Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and it's inscribed Montreal Screwjob. Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. So I'm a huge Bret the Hitman Hart fan. The day that Owen was taken away from us, I was devastated. I was hurt. I was pretty depressed. I was a young kid. I was in 8th grade and didn't watch the pay-per-view. Got to school. Everybody knew I was a huge wrestling fan. They told me. And I ran to the store. I grabbed the newspaper. Sure as hell, front page. Professional wrestler dies in ring. And it was Owen Hart. To this day, it still hurts me when, you know, that did not have to happen. It was ridiculous stunt that wasn't necessary, but things happen in life and you just can't, press the rewind button. So I decided after all these years it was time for me to add an Owen Hart autograph card to the collection. Owen is a legend, and I definitely will never forget watching his matches and just enjoying the hell out of them. So there you have it, guys. Sorry if I got a little bit on the sad side on this video, but some stories are, well, not all stories are happy stories. But I am happy to have that card, and I am happy that you guys watched this entire video. So if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys are not part of the Facebook card community that I opened up, where we do PSA submissions, PSA reveals, and small little group breaks, nothing huge, go down to the description, click on the Facebook link, join the cave. Alright, guys, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.